Hey, my friend. Welcome to Awakening Soul Force. I am so excited to have you here on this journey with me. So, first and foremost, I want to thank you for your presence and for your decision to walk this path to self discovery, to a deeper self awareness, to being a more reflective and more conscious human being. This has been one of the most satisfying and fulfilling journeys that I have ever embarked on, and it continues to be that way, and I get excited about it, so I hope that you're excited about it too. I'm excited for you, so thank you for being here and choosing to walk a more conscious path. And secondly, I just want to say thank you for giving me the privilege and the honor to share my experiences and what I've learned and my own personal stories, my personal growth and development. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share that in hopes that it serves you on your journey. So I just want to be really clear at the top here. This material truly is all about you. This is about leading you to your own awarenesses, your own answers, your own reflections, leading you to your own loving truth. That's what this material is about. I can only speak from my perspective and my own experiences, and I will, as we go through this course, and as you'll see in the Awakening Soul Force book that hopefully you've purchased and will be kind of using to study along with this material, you will see that I'm sharing things from my experience, because at the end of the day, that's really all we've got. We've got our direct experience of life and this world and ourselves and the divine. And that's what we can speak to most honestly and most authentically and most truthfully. Otherwise, it's just beliefs. It could be speculation. It could be fantasies. And the reason why I call this a practical guide to awakening the truth within, because I believe that our spiritual development is meant to be a practical thing. It's meant to be an embodied thing. The ideals of truth and honesty and peace and freedom and harmony, and a lot of these qualities and characteristics that I think a lot of people who are present here in this time and in this way are striving for and working towards. Those ideals are just fantasies, ideas, and theories until we learn how to embody them. Your truth, the truth of who you are, the truth of who you could become, the love that is inside of you, the creator that is inside of you, that isn't real until you have a physical embodied experience of it. And so what I hope to accomplish with this material is to provide exercises and opportunities for reflection and thought experiments and just little spiritual experiments that you can walk into and hopefully have an experience. And then what you get from that experience may very well be different than what I have taken away from the experience. But hopefully you have an experience with it nonetheless that leads you a step closer to knowing and understanding more clearly who you are. And knowing and understanding who you are outside the confines and the constructs of social conditioning and even traumatic experiences or formative experiences that impressed or influenced the ideas of who we are, but in reality, in actuality, aren't the true essence of who we are. So we're on a philosophical and a spiritual journey. It's intellectual, it's emotional, it's energetic, it's spiritual. But ultimately, again, I'm hoping to just share some things that help you return to the essence of who you are, and that it's not just the essence of who you are, but there's that awareness, there's an understanding, there is an awakening to that quality and those characteristics, the essence of what is you. That's the work that I hope that we accomplish together. So again, what I share may be resonant, it may not. Take what works, leave what doesn't. Sometimes the fastest way to understanding who we are is recognizing what we are not. And so at the end of the day, if you do this entire thing, walk through this entire journey with me and come out at the end going, that really wasn't for me, no, then still the mission has been accomplished. We're a step closer to understanding who you are because you've checked a bunch of things off the list. Does that make sense? So recognize there's no expectation here. It's important for you to recognize that you are your own spiritual and moral authority, and really it's my role and my job as a guide to help return you to that. I'm not here to tell you who you are or what you are or the truth that you should be living. It's up to you to decide that and to discover that and to uncover that for yourself. So my hope is to just kind of lead you down some potential pathways and lead you into some experiences that may allow that understanding to unfold for yourself. So to get things started, what I would love to offer up first is to just have a starting point. So we're not going to go through this time together, and I'm not going to be assessing you or analyzing necessarily the way a doctor or even a physical trainer might, analyze your progress along the way. It won't be that quite granular and detailed or even scrutinized, but I do think it's important for us to kind of just see where we're at now, understand where your awareness is and what you're thinking, what you're feeling, where the understandings lie now. And then by the time you finish working with me through this material, we'll revisit these basic questions and just see where you're at and just see if there's a shift. There may be a shift, there may not be, but hopefully along this path, again, we will go on a journey of experiences that allow you to reflect, to explore, to experiment, and to have experiences that maybe reveal something about yourself to yourself in a very conscious way, because ultimately that's what this journey is all about. The last thing I'll say before I ask you these very important fundamental questions that we're going to work with, I have made recommendations throughout these modules and these exercises for time periods, time frames, or how often maybe you should work with the material or the exercises. Understand this is just a framework. You're not bound to this. You don't have to follow everything exactly as I say it. Please, by all means, make it your own. Move through it at your own pace and allow yourself to move through this in a way that feels intuitive and it feels like it serves you. And that might mean you do a few things back to back, and then you take a pause and allow that to integrate. And then you pick the course back up in 3 weeks or 4 weeks or even 4 months from now, and then re-immerse yourself. There's no right or wrong way to do this. There is only the way that works and the way that serves you and leads you back to your highest truth. That make sense? Okay, so let's just go through 3 basic questions. The one thing I will say about this journey together, you're not gonna need anything except yourself and a reflective mind and awareness. Maybe a pen and paper could be helpful. Those are the other tools that I would offer up. A pen and paper and the Awakening Soul Force book, if you haven't grabbed it already, would be a good addition. So grab a pen, grab a paper. You can meditate, you can get quiet, you can do this in the heat of the moment of some crazy day of yours, it doesn't matter. But just sit down and take a few minutes to answer these 3 basic questions. The first question is, who are you? Just who are you? Just write down who you are. It can be a 1-word answer. It could be a biography if you want. It could be a detailed description of all the things you've done in your background and history. If that's how you define yourself, just go for it. Just write about who you are. Once you finish that, the next question I would like you to answer is, what is your loving truth? Again, there is no right or wrong answer to this. What is your loving truth? You might even be asking, Jeff, I'm not even sure what that means. That's okay. What is your interpretation of what I'm saying? And what is your response to what is your loving truth? So when you have the time, then answer that question for yourself. And then the final answer, or I should say the final question that I would like you to answer is, more often than not, am I living in alignment with my loving truth? So those are the 3 questions. Who am I? What is my loving truth? And finally, more often than not, am I living in alignment with my loving truth? And what I mean by that is, in our lived experience, through our actions, the thoughts we think, the words we speak, the actions we take, more often than not, are we living in alignment with the said loving truth that we have outlined? So if you said that my loving truth is, I am love, or that all of the world is love, or that love is my loving truth, then the answer to your question next, or the way you evaluate that, is to ask, well, are my actions loving? Are my thoughts loving? Are my words loving? Are my actions kind? That's essentially what we're looking to analyze. Again, there's no right or wrong way to answer this. Just, it's a starting point. It's a foundation to help us understand where we begin. And now, if you're ready, it will be time to move through the rest of this Awakening Soul Force journey. And you're going to go on a topsy-turvy journey of experiences, hopefully, that have you looking inward, tuning into your intuition, tuning into yourself, tuning into your heart, tuning into your instincts, tuning into your creative ability, tuning into your past and the present, and maybe even in some cases the future, tuning into your philosophical ideals and values and beliefs that you hold in your mind, scrutinizing, analyzing, and becoming more aware of those things. And hopefully by the end, we're going to revisit those 3 questions, and we're going to see if there's been any evolution or any change. All right? So thank you again so much for being here. I'm very excited to be a guide on this journey for you, and I hope that you enjoy this process and you find it as fulfilling as I have. So without further ado, let us take the journey to awakening soul force, this practical guide to awakening the truth within. And I'll see you in the next video.